My name is Nathan. Today I'm going to show you how to replace an empty oxygen cylinder. Okay. Before we get started, you may be asking yourself, why would I ever need to know how to do that? I don't work in the medical field and I'm certainly not a scuba diver. Well, you may never need to, but in the event that you are taking care of a family member and they don't use the machine that delivers them oxygen, they just have a tank and an old regulator, then you might need to know how if they ask for assistance, in which case this is a good video to tune into and learn how to do that if you don't know how to already. So some things we will need is this oxygen wrench. This is actually called an oxygen cylinder wrench, and it is used to open and close the tanks to allow oxygen out. You can find these almost anywhere: Amazon, real cheap, eBay, home O2 stores, pharmacies, or if your family member has the tanks, then they should have one laying around. Just ask them. You will also need a brand new tank filled with oxygen. This is actually an old tank. For educational purposes, we are not using a new tank. The new tanks will have a blue sleeve around the neck. You just pull that off, and that is just a tamper tag to let you know that it's not been messed with and it's fully refilled. We've placed a blue rubber band around it to kind of replicate the tamper tag. So that's what you'll need. You'll need the wrench and the new tank. Some hazards we should go over. As you know, oxygen is a fire hazard, so make sure both tanks are turned off before you begin handling them. And as always, whenever you handle a pressurized tank, be mindful of your surroundings and how you handle it, because handling any pressurized tank can potentially be dangerous. And do not drop it on your foot, as you might break a couple toes. Okay, so now that we've gone over why we want to change out the oxygen tank, what we will need to do so, and the potential hazards associated with this task, let's go over the steps now so we can learn how to actually perform the task. So let's gather the things we will need. Step 1, our oxygen cylinder wrench so we can open and close the tanks. Old tank, the one we are going to be replacing, and the new tank, the one with the blue tamper tag here on the skinny silver part, or called the neck. Now, take a look at the old tank. It has this green piece on it. This is called the regulator, and this dial right here allows how much oxygen is discharged from the tank. Now, you'll see on the regulator that the needle is on the red. That means empty. It means it's time to change this tank and get a new one. Do so by taking the wrench with these square holes. It goes perfectly, fits perfectly on the top of the valve screw. Now we turn that clockwise to close it off. Make sure no oxygen will escape when the regulator is taking off. So unscrew this silver screw here and just take the regulator off. That's all you gotta do is unscrew this, unscrew that all the way, and the regulator will slide right off. So you can get a better look at that gauge there. Show it's red. Okay. Old tank, put it somewhere where it's not going to get knocked over or damaged, because it still does have oxygen inside, even if very little. It is still pressurized. Take our new tank. We placed a rubber band here for simulating the tamper tag. You'll remove the tamper tag. Okay. And you'll take the regulator and you'll look inside here. You will see a brass nipple in the opening here. This opening is called the yoke of the regulator. You'll see a black gasket around. That's just a rubber piece. It allows a perfect seal to be formed and oxygen to not escape around the nipple there. And that part is where the regulator actually goes into the oxygen tank and allows oxygen to be discharged and delivered to the patient. Now, on this side, straight under that nipple, you will see 2 small pins. Now, these pins do serve a purpose, because if you look at the tank, you will see 2 small pins under a hole here. So I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together and figure out that they do match up. So take the pins, put the neck through the yoke, and place the pins in the hole. And if you're in the right spot, it will slide. It won't be able to slide up and down. So now screw on the regulator, indicating and making sure it's tight. Now the last step, take your wrench again and place it on the on-off valve and turn it counterclockwise this time. Now turn it off. So there you have it. That's all the steps that you would need to do in order to change out an oxygen tank. Now this one is a dead tank, but you can see that the needle is slightly off the red this time. So there is some in there. You see that we successfully changed out the oxygen tank. Now again, there might not be many situations in which you would have to do this unless you work in the medical field, EMS, in the hospital, what have you. But you may need to help out with your family member when it comes to their home O2. A lot of people do use the portables instead of the machines. I know the machines are becoming more abundant and more commonly used, but people do carry around their oxygen tanks with them, and sometimes as people get older, their fine motor skills deteriorate, and they have a hard time doing the fine mechanisms of the screw or the wrench. Somebody out. Even if you don't take care of them and just meet somebody at the park and they are struggling with their oxygen tank, now you can help them out. And that's the point of this video, is to just get you informed on how to do this task, and that's all you need to know. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself watching this video and learned all you could. Thank you.